This is an anonymous illustrator. I go by the name 12Drawings. Um, I am making this set of 12 drawings about the Serenity Prayer, which is widely attributed to uh, Reinhold Niebuhr. It's a prayer that's often heard in recovery programs, but he really had no connection with the program. I'm going to take each keyword in the Serenity Prayer, which was written in the 1930s, and I'm going to look it up in a 1930s dictionary. After I did this exercise, I decided to create a drawing that would help me remember what the significance of that word was to me in my recovery. But the word may just simply be helpful to anyone who uses that prayer. This is an important word in the world, whether you embrace it or reject it. The word is God. And the 1934 Webster's Dictionary simply defined it as a being of more than human attributes and powers. That's the complete definition. A being of more than human attributes and powers. Now, for people who do read 12-step literature, you may see a similarity to a phrase often used there, which is a power higher than human power, or simply my higher power. And what's interesting is Webster's dictionary seems to align with that. My illustration appears certainly to be a big white hand. Its purpose is unclear. It's just simply there. And then there's a whole just a collection, a mess, if you will, of items sitting around it. So what's the point of this drawing? Everything in this drawing I selected because it reminds me of a power in my life that is human, just quickly. And this is quite literal. There's nothing terribly symbolic. I played the clarinet, so there's some music. I like eating apples, so there's food. When I was in class, I would use a calculator, so there's a calculator for math. Like to go fishing sometimes. There's a bullet for violence and things that can come from the use of a gun. There's yarn, which is the many wonderful things that can be done with fabric and knitting and other needlework. There's the tip of a razor sharp katana or Japanese sword, which is also an implement of war. There's a painter's brush. There's a drill bit. There's a dart for recreational gaming. There's a cigar. You can just kind of go through here, and I think if you can make out what it is, this one's a little human tooth, which I'm not sure what that one stood for. There's a airplane, which stood for, advanced technology. There's a beaker. There's a crown, which stands for royalty, a very, very, very high form of human power. There's a microchip, or a little transistor or capacitor. There's a football to stand for sports. There's wheat to stand for agriculture. So I could go on and on. There's diploma standing for higher education. There's jewelry for riches. There's dice to stand for some people's faith in chance or luck or gambling. And there's, of course, a liquor shot glass, and there's pills to stand in for drugs, and there's money, and I think you kind of get the idea. So what's the point of this white hand here? It's something that is not one of the surrounding human powers. All the human powers surround it, and yet its identity is separate from them. This is a reminder to me that if I want to look for a God of my own understanding, for my own reasons, the suggestion both from the writings from recovery literature and from uh, the uh, the Webster's dictionary of the same era is I should start my search looking outside of the arena of human powers. Doesn't give me my answer, but it tells me where to start looking. So this, in fact, is not a white hand. This, in fact, is an empty space, a little bit of a mystery, which is defined by everything that it is not. And that's the purpose of this drawing. You can learn more at 12drawings.com. Thanks so much for listening.